Guys, it's Tech9. I'm going to be talking to you about the absolute downfall and crumbling of Disney. We're going to start with the original fact. Disney has been a hallowed, sacred, I wouldn't say sacred, excuse me, a hallowed American tradition for almost 100 years. It has been in service from 1920s and has since grown into the almost number one franchise in the in America and the entire world. However, there's something seriously going wrong there. They're making new content that no one is liking. They're doing things that are just that have no meaning to it aside from appeasing the little 6-year-old Timmies and Timettes of the 6-year-old groups and more. So let's start with the original. So YouTube, please don't snipe my videos if I'm going to be showing clips of movies. So let's start with, I would say, the classics that everybody knows, everyone loves them, things like The Little Mermaid, 101 Dalmatians, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and more. They in the 1940s on through the 2010s, they had arguably one of the great. They could not stop growing. They didn't have anything going wrong for them. Money was flowing in through toys, through movie theaters, through home VHSs, DVDs at one point, and more. Nothing was going wrong for them, and they could have grown, and they grow faster than anyone could have ever expected. However, something started to go wrong. So, after a while, around 2016, Moana was produced, and I would say that this would be the last good movie from Disney that was mainstream. It wasn't as if Moana was an outlier. And things started to go south for Disney. And after a while, things started to become less quality and more along the lines of politics. For example, after a while, you started to have movies such as Encanto, among other movies that were solely for politics. And I don't want to get sniped by Disney and YouTube, so I'm not going to talk about it, but movies from 2020 onwards, as well as TV shows, they stopped being actually the good, legendary content, and just started being basically drilling in politics. While there were exceptions, such as Far From Home, Venom 2, and among other things, it's mainly just the politics things. And however, if you haven't checked, Disney Junior, I would say, has become the ultimate source of propaganda for Disney. I'm not going to dive into politics because I'm going to get taken down by YouTube, but they've made enormous changes to The Little Mermaid. They had basically one job, and it's to make the movies better. And instead, they decided to have differences instead of actual good content. Now, however, and after 2023, something new came along. They allowed Hulu to be on there. And now, while this is much better for Disney Plus's reputation, it will not bring much in because because only TV-14 will be allowed. And then again, TV-14 is the most appropriate unless you got an editing device. Most of the stuff they're putting onto to Disney Plus isn't that good from Hulu. I think you still have to buy some things. Correct me if I'm wrong. However, things are starting to get a little out of hand now that there are streams. If you can see closely, even though my phone is a literal toaster, there are streams going on. This is for people that are either so lazy they can't even move off the couch, have children that are so upset when the movie ends they just have to have a constant stream so they don't have to deal with their kids or other things. I don't want to get into many more of those reasons. And while there is one thing that did remain the same, good content for years, it's finally fallen off. The lovable Star Wars has fallen off. The Acolyte got really political and really weird this year, and it's just been completely destroyed. And everything they had, basically, the people at Disney had one job. It's creating good content for people, for kids and adults alike. However, they shifted their point of view from the children and adults who want to actually watch the show to basically just the people who are screaming on Twitter and Instagram. Instead of good content like Aladdin, you've got movies such as, instead of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you got a remake of The Little Mermaid that was, I think, one of the most disliked movies of all time, and mainly because they made it political, their redo. Instead of good movies like Moana, they had to do, I'll have to check real quick, but instead of I wouldn't say princess movies, but good movies such as Moana, you have just random stuff like Taylor Swift music, or they're overusing Frozen to absolute extremes. They have over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 things related to Frozen. And I think I don't know, this might just be trustmebro.com, but they might be making more. Back in the day, for my Gen Z boys, for those who really know nostalgia, if you remember Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, and among other things, it's now been replaced by this monstrosity. It's been replaced by Primos. Basically, all just random content that's just been smothered into the show. And one thing that has absolutely terrified me, they can have bad shorts, at least they can put some heart into it, but there's something I've noticed that I think that they need to own up to. Things like Wish, this Disney Junior thing called Kindergarten. This looks AI generated. Or is Disney really being that lazy and just turning to AI out of all things? You were making, I would say, arguably the greatest content in the history of man until 2020. I don't know what happened, but you've made so many horrible mistakes that I'm honestly considering deleting the app. I'm still 17. I'm still living with my parents because I'm younger, but it's now just a mess of crazy K-pop simps, as shown here with Are You Sure? It's just BTS. It's stuff that everybody loves. They're now putting in anime to the shows, and I think some of them are known for actually are TV-14 and have sexual content in them. And the show is, and I would say this is, and instead of good shorts, they're just making the strangest stuff just for views. They have entire collections for politics. This stories matter things. I'm not going to be talking about politics here. I'm not going to, but but they're just going to be putting all the politics right up top up for everyone to see. There's almost all content that has been made in the 1940s, such as Three Caballeros. If you can watch this. There is going to be a trigger warning if I try and watch this. It's just, I do not know what they could be trying to censor out. If people make mistakes, that's for sure. But you don't have to be censoring the content. That's just rude. It makes you look weak. It makes you look like you can't have anybody attacking you. And it just makes Walt Disney super upset. Anyway, that's it for my video. If you see that I'm under 500 subscribers, what the heck are you guys doing? You need to be sharing and subbing more. Alright. Make sure to subscribe to Tech9 and make sure to give a heart and put on notifications. I'm going to be dropping 20 videos in November. Anyway, later.